non-provision of salary and distribution of profits, rectification. Okay, let's see. Now in some cases what can happen is that there might be certain salary which has to be provided. So let's say you had two partners, X and Y. They were to be provided salaries of 20,000 and 30,000 respectively, right, during 2011. But what happened was that instead of providing this salary, the company forgot, and there was nothing which was provided. Now 2012, the company suddenly realized, oh, we've just kind of missed this salary, right? So the company decides, okay, let me pass on these entries, right? So in a normal scenario, what will happen? Had it been that you were passing these entry in 2011, you would have said salary account debit. It's an expense account, it's an expense for the company. So you will put in salary account debit 20,000, or maybe I can just pass a single entry here. 20 plus 30, right? 50,000 to X's capital account to Y's capital account. Right? But this did not happen. This was omitted. And now you've reached 2012. Okay? And you suddenly notice this entry. So the first thing you will think is, hey, what happened? I mean, I didn't pass this entry, but then what is it that actually happened to this profit of 50,000? If I did not provide an expense, my profit would have increased by 50,000, right? And if it increased by 50,000, normally what do we do with the profit? We basically distribute it in the profit sharing ratio. So let's say the profit sharing ratio was 3:2, right? So if we did not provide this salary for 50,000, my profit would have increased by 50,000. And what I would have done is, I would have debited profit and loss account to X's capital account to Y's capital account, right? And by how much? 3:2. So 50,000 was the profit which got understated. So that profit would have been transferred to their capital accounts in the ratio of their profit sharing, 3:2. Right? Now comes 2012. I need to do a rectification. Right? Now what is the error I did? I did not debit the salary account. So should I debit the salary account this year? The answer is no. Why? Because if I book it as salary, it will go into my profit and loss account of 2012 as an expense. So instead of debiting this, I debit profit and loss adjustment account debit to what? We'll need to see this. Why? The correct entry would have been, you would have credited X's capital account by 20,000. But what did you do? You credited it by 30,000. So X's capital account actually needs to be debited. Let's take it like this. X's capital account should be debited by 10,000. Y should have got a credit of 30 while he got only 20. Right? So Y should be credited by 10,000. Right? So this is one of the methods which you can use to pass on the entry. Right? The other method which I was showing you here could have been, it's a lengthier one, but let's just see it for the sake of completeness. This salary account would have been debited to profit and loss account, okay, 50,000. And you would have credited X and Y by 20,000 and 30,000 respectively. Right? These were wrong credits to the account of X and Y. So you will debit X and Y by 30,000 and 20,000 respectively. And you debited the profit and loss account last year wrongly by 50,000. So you credit the profit and loss adjustment account, not the profit and loss account, but the profit and loss adjustment account by 50,000. If you see the net impact, what is it? So you've got a credit for P&L adjustment account. Let me use a different color. For 50,000, you've got a debit for it by 50,000. So effectively 0. You've got a credit to X by 20 and a debit by 30. So net debit for X is equal to 10,000. You've got a credit to Y for 30 and a debit to Y for 20. So credit to Y is 10,000. Net, the result is same as I showed to you earlier. That if you just see, I mean, these salary account and P&L account have to be adjusted in the same account. So this 50 debit, okay, and this 50 really doesn't make a difference. In any case, once you have prepared the salary account, that also goes to the P&L account only. So you can just credit these two, right? And debit these two and get the net result.